Welcome to Illini Insights, a podcast dedicated to learning more about the employees who make up the diverse and talented community at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. In this episode, we sit down with Erik Riha, Director of Marketing for the Illini Union. Well, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey, your career path leading up to your role here at the Illini Union?
Okay, so I graduated undergrad in 1998, and I was in marketing communications as my major.
Yeah.
Kind of bounced through minor league sports for a couple of years, and then made my way into the higher education field at Ohio State University in the recreational sports area. That's what they called it. It's campus rec here at Illinois. So I was there for 3 years. I was able to get my master's in exercise and sport management while I was there for free, which was always nice. And then I was there for 3 years, helped open their new rec centers that you'll see if you ever watch a football game at Ohio State. You'll see them in the background. They're the huge buildings, and there's turf fields out there.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was there, and then opportunity here at the University of Illinois opened up, and it got my wife and I closer to our family. We're both from Iowa originally. So decided to jump at that opportunity and got fortunate enough to get the position over at Campus Rec right before the ARC opened. So I was part of the group that helped open that renovated facility. And I was at Campus Rec for 8 years. So I came in 2006, and then in late 2014, moved over, got a position at the Illini Union. So when the position at the Union opened up, I knew a lot of people over there just from being on campus. And it's very similar to campus recreation, right? It's a lot of energy, a lot of programs. So it's
fast
fun.
Paced. It seems fast paced.
Yeah, like,
just from the outside perspective, like, oh, that is a very fast place. I mean, you got so many people come in there every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and I always say, right, like I've gotten to work in the two busiest buildings on campus, the ARC and the Union. And now, currently, our marketing team, about 3 years ago, is actually combined. So we're the auxiliary health and well-being marketing team. So we actually are the staff that I manage. We do the marketing and communications for the Illini Union, Campus Recreation, McKinley Health Center, and now the Counseling Center as well. They're all part of our team.
Wow.
So we have a big team of 14 people who help manage all that. But it's kind of fun to be back connected, right? And I have a lot of historical knowledge from Campus Rec here, so
it helps
to share and understand. A lot of things have changed over there. I don't like a lot of new staff members, but great to work with still. And so that's kind of how I got into the Union and have stayed there, enjoyed it. Like you said, it's fast-paced. It's a little bit of a different focus. They have a retail focus as well with the bookstore and the tech zone.
Yep.
So from a marketing perspective, you get to do some other things as well, like
that integrate kind of like what you have in the Illini Union, actually.
Yeah, and it kind of feeds back to the stuff that I did when I worked in team sports. That was a lot of, tickets drove everything, right? We always were checking our ticket sales, our sponsorship sales. Even though I was the marketing communication person, and the media relations person, I still had to sell tickets and still sell some sponsorships. Yep. So kind of that experience helps in a lot of the stuff that we do right now as well.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So so you have a large team, which, numerous units on campus. How do you foster an environment of collaboration?
That's a good question. I think just being authentic and creating an area where people can feel like their opinion matters, their voice matters. Yep. I try to, in meetings, I don't think I'm the expert at all. And I'm, everyone can chime in an idea, and it's like, oh, that's a great idea. Yep. Just this morning, we had an issue with a short URL, right? Yeah. we were like, oh, we send out these invites, and there was a little bit of a misprint, not a misspelling, but it wasn't quite the way the URL was created.
Yeah.
And the person, not me or not one of our team, because we were just kind of like, oh, what do we do? Another administrative person in our staff goes, well, could we make another short URL and just make it that one, just so that there's, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a perfect idea.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I went into Web Tools, made the other one. I said, now it's seamless, right? No one's going to know the difference. And it's just kind of, so that like just being willing to listen to people and to make sure they know, and not ever reject or just off,
Exactly.
like throw
Brush
it off.
them off.
Brush them off. Yeah. And just, not that every idea is good and every idea is going to be used and that, but I think just having that environment where people know they can come to me and say what they want to say.
Yep.
And I'm not, gonna hold it against them or anything.
Yeah,
and
think differently after
and then,
the fact.
and then we can kind of, and then we can talk it through too.
Yeah.
And I could tell them why that's not going to work.
Yep.
Or we say, hey, let's try it and let's see.
Yep.
What if that'll work or not. So,
just being open, just having an open ear to people. And
and being flexible.
Yeah.
Like we just had interviews for a position, and we'd ask them kind of what the number one thing a marketing person needs, and a lot of them I think were correct. Right, they need to be flexible, right, and being able to kind of go with changes if needed, and not be so like it's my way or the highway type of thing. And because great ideas come from all over.
Exactly.
Even though it's not your quote unquote job, you could still have a great idea that we could use.
Exactly. Yeah. That sounds like you have a great environment right there. But what advice would you give someone who is interested in pursuing a career in marketing?
From like a college student perspective, I would say do internships, get experience. I've talked to classes here on campus before, and like I've gone and talked to RST classes, and you had mentioned, right, we have a great athletics program on this campus, a Big Ten school, a great campus recreation program on this campus, and go work for these places. Get internships, get practical work experience as much as possible. Now, some of the jobs, right, like you'll do the grunt work, air quotes again, right?
Yeah.
But I've always told students, anything I have you do, like we would be doing it. Like it's not like this is we don't. What else are they going to do? Just do this.
Yeah, fill in here.
Yeah, like this is needed work.
Exactly.
And it's stuff that builds. Like you realize why you're doing this. Like it all builds on each other. So yeah, internships. I'm a big proponent. I had 3 of them as an undergrad, and it literally is why I got my first job.
Yeah.
Was because of the experience that I had, and they could see it on my resume quick and be like, okay, well he kind of knows what this industry's about.
Yep.
And then just once you get your foot in the door, work hard, and don't think anything is above you or is below you. I like people who come with ideas.
Yeah.
But also understand that a lot of times there's a reason things are done the way they are.
Yep.
And they can't always explain every single bit of it to you. So if something is rejected or not used, like don't take offense to it, right?
Exactly.
It's just there's probably some other reason that's going on. Yeah. So just get that experience any way you can. On this campus, right, there's the American Advertising Federation.
Mm-hmm.
They have all those groups within. What a great opportunity. And being able to, and then making sure you lay that out on your resume. I always tell our student employees, because they're student employees, right? They're a paid position. It's not titled an internship.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're doing what you would be doing in an internship.
Yep.
Right? Like put it on your resume. Make sure you're explaining like this work you're doing, because it's it is what you would be doing as a full-time employee at other places, and it's a way to demonstrate that you have some knowledge. And I've always heard back from our students too. I've asked them before, like, hey, what did you learn from doing that job?
Yeah.
Like making sure and a lot of them, it wasn't even what they did, but it was being in the environment and being in an office environment and seeing how people interacted with each other and understanding, like, hey, we don't all get along, right? There's going to be arguments or disagreements, but it's how you react to each other and work through it and compromise. So the students seeing that, right, it's good that they can carry that with them when they get out into actual jobs or that first like full-time internship. And it just, is a good way to kind of see how you should act in an office environment.
Yep. It's really what you make it, kind of, too. So what you make out of the internship. Because I know when I first started out, I was very like you said, I was very motivated. I wanted to go above and beyond, and it's really, and that shows. You really see that on a resume.
Well, my first internship with the Dallas Stars, one of the jobs one day, I had it like this again before all the digital stuff.
Yeah,
I had to sit in a copy room and make. It had to be like 6,000 copies, and it was these packets for season ticket holders. Super boring, right?
Yeah.
But you had to stand there, like you had to be there because I had to like grab everything out. Now they would staple them and everything, but you had to stack them and organize them. And it literally was at least a half a day thing. Now, the only thing that made it good was where I worked, I looked out the window and the Dallas Cowboys were practicing right below us because at the time, this does not exist now. They've all moved locations. But at the time, the Stars practice rink and the Dallas Cowboys were next to each other in Irvine, Texas. So you actually I was like, well, this is kind of cool. I'm standing here and looking out, and there's Michael Irving and Emmett Smith and Troy Aikman. And I was like, okay, this makes standing in a copy room a little more enjoyable. But and don't worry.
That's a perk right there.
I had another internship. My office, I got an office, but it literally was a broom closet. Like they converted a janitor's little broom closet into where I could sit and have a computer. So it was not the greatest environment, but even now, right, as a full-time staff member, you can easily have an office with no windows, but you make it do.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to our rapid fire round.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard this before. It's basically a series of either or questions. So our first one is actually coffee or tea?
Coffee.
X or Twitter?
Oh, Twitter.
Yeah, me too.
I can't. I still can't figure out this.
I know. Seriously. Are you a morning person or night owl?
Now, with my children, morning.
Sweet or savory?
Oh, geez.
I know.
Probably both. Probably savory, I would go with.
Yeah. Dogs or cats?
Well, I'm allergic to both.
Oh, no.
We actually have 2 guinea pigs and a bearded dragon. So,
still animals.
But I would lean towards dogs if I needed.
All right. Print materials or digital? It's funny because we just talked about this.
Digital. I just like the ease of being able to switch things out.
I still love printing. I love being able to like actually feel it in your hands and like see it and like. But I agree. I'm more of a digital person too.
It'll be one of those things where like it's people are gonna want a printed booklet again because it's like vinyl albums, right? Like it's the nostalgia of having that. It's gonna come back around at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. Email communications or social media?
Oh, email communications. Yeah. As I've gotten older, my social media personal use has dropped way off. I really only check social media to see that our posts for the union and campus rec and stuff are going up, and how, and more about like how the engagement of those posts are doing.
Yes.
I really follow social media basically for sports.
Yeah.
I get scores and highlights
Updates,
of games I can't watch.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So our last rapid fire question: podcasts or video?
Well, My wife's not into podcasts. She makes fun of me all the time because I actually listen. I like podcasts.
Yeah.
But I actually like the video podcasts, right? So there's a lot of podcasts now that
Hybrid.
record themselves
Yes.
and post on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I actually like watching them talk more than just listening to them talk.
I agree.
So I kind of like
watch a few of
the
those.
hybrid of podcasts with the video.
So both.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
That works. I agree. Okay, so we're going to come back to our questions here. So how has the field of marketing and communications evolved over your career? It started back in the early 2000s, correct?
Yeah, well, in the late 90s.
Late
really.
90s.
Like, I mean, if I go all the way back to college, it's hard. It's changed so much. And everybody, this is kind of, especially younger generations who have grown up with social media don't know anything different, right? But that has totally changed the way you think about marketing, the quick, like everything's, even videos, right? When we first started doing videos, like people would do 5-minute long videos.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we talk about a video project and it's like, it needs to be 45 seconds or less. And even that is probably too long, right?
Yeah.
Like get in there, 15 seconds, get our point across because people are going to stop watching.
Engagement rate.
Yeah.
The engagement of.
So social media has changed it a lot. And how fast, in good and bad, right? Like good, there's something you have to update. We can post it quick. Like something's had to close because of an emergency or a pipe burst, right? We can get that out there really fast. Along with on the website, the website management, I feel has totally changed marketing too. Because when I first started, I remember taking HTML classes, and I'm not I'm not a back end person at all, and it's just kind of like, oh man, knowing all the code and why isn't this showing up? It's like because you didn't put the little closed icon thing in the back.
Yes.
Now with CMS systems, like we have Drupal, there's WordPress, obviously, and on campus. Those I think are the two big ones on campus now. But the university offers Publish Illinois system where you build your own website quick. I just built 2 of them over the last couple of days, and just that ability, like. If you can put puzzles together, you can put a website together. Yeah. It's really easy. It looks like Word editors.
It is,
right?
yeah.
I mean, to me, the quickness of being able to do that and the support. Now we have 4 people on our team. We have a person dedicated to our web content, but if they're sick, if they're gone, we have 3 other people who can get in there without any training. They know what they're doing and update it as well. So, I guess I would say those are the 2 huge differences over time.
Yeah, that's one even in my short time. So I started, I think it was around 2020 and actually so I was a video production coordinator, but then I was like more into marketing after that as a creative director. So one thing that I've personally noticed is the retention rate of videos. They like you said, they have to be so short or they just get skipped. 2 minutes is sometimes just way too long. Yeah. And that keeps shortening. So that's one thing I've noticed. But yeah.
Well, I came from the sports part of me. Yeah. Like my job, right? Reason I was getting hired a lot was because I could write press releases, and like my internship I had in baseball one summer, like my job was after the game, I wrote a post-game press release and the box score, and I had to sit and fax these out to media all over the country, right? Local media, but then we had like the league office, all this stuff, but like that has just totally changed now. I mean, it's just, we rarely do press release, and if we do a press release, it's really like just an email to like the News Gazette and WCIA, right? Yeah, like it's not this formal news. Hardcore marketing communications people yell at me, but like people just don't do these formal press releases that we were trained and like Twitter, right? Most local media are following all these departments on social media, and that's how they learn about things half the time. Like we'll get calls about some event, and I'm like, how did you even know that? And like, oh yeah, we posted something on Instagram or on Facebook about it. So all that, like the access to is just so different. And Yeah, it's crazy how much it's changed.
It really is. It really is. Thanks for joining us on Illini Insight. My name is Keith Miller, and I will see you next time on Illini Insight.